Hi, this is Jay. I go by Jay's Arcade on the Launchbox forum and on YouTube. And today I am going to try to redo a tutorial I made a while back on ScummVM and Launchbox and RocketLauncher. I was made aware not too long ago that I missed a step in the tutorial, and I think it was throwing some people off, but nobody was really saying anything about it. So but one person did kind of let me know in a roundabout sort of way. So with that said, I'm gonna try to redo this in a way that everybody can understand, and try to explain some things of how ScummVM works and the big picture of how Launchbox and RocketLauncher kind of look at ScummVM and how everything is launched, and archive files and temp folder locations and stuff like that. I'm going to be going off of the Hyperspin ready ScummVM set. I think it's the best ScummVM set out there. You can get the no intro sets, and there's quite a few files in there. I'm not the kind of guy that needs 500,000 games on my cab, on my system. I think that's overkill. Some people will disagree, and to each their own. But regardless of what set you're using, if they're 7-zipped, archived, you should be able to follow this somewhat. Maybe it'll help some people even do it and set this up in other ways, or even help people with maybe other front ends set this up. My goal is just to help people. So I know a lot of people would like to get ScummVM to work, and they've tried and they just kind of give up and they never say anything, but it's kind of a sore spot with me. I think Launchbox is a great front end, but a couple bad things about I'll say it. ScummVM, there's no support for it. Pinball, no support for pinball. Virtual pinball, future pinball, neither one of them. Another sore spot for me, if you're just looking at a wheel in big box and you just want to launch like a jukebox, you can't do it. You have to go through sub menus and something that you would think is so simple, they just haven't implemented it. I mean, it's like an incomplete product. Why don't you implement some of this stuff that you would think would be so easy to do? But that's enough harping about my gripes about Launchbox. Everything else about Launchbox is amazing. So much easier to set up than Hyperspin. I don't know. It has its pros and cons, but like I said, enough complaining and bitching about that. Let's get started. Assuming that you have the Hyperspin ready set, which is what I'm running off of, and it's this set here, and they're all 7-zip. They're all 7-zip files. Now, looking at the big picture of how Launchbox and RocketLauncher and ScummVM work together, what will happen is when you click on a game in Launchbox, it will tell RocketLauncher, it will say, okay, RocketLauncher is the emulator for this. RocketLauncher will then load, it will extract the 7-zip into a temp folder, and it will extract that game, and then ScummVM will say, oh, there's my game, I'm gonna load it from here. And it's basically we're gonna fool ScummVM into thinking that this temp directory is where all the games are, and we're going to do that by editing the ScummVM Ini file, and I'm going to include that for you guys. You can just download the ScummVM Ini, and I believe that the Hyperspin ready set comes with an Ini, and if we look in here, it's in here. But when I looked at it, all the paths were kind of screwed up, and it was a little hard to edit it because there was a few different paths. I kind of cleaned it up and made my own ScummVM Ini, and I'll add that here and let you guys. You can download that and you can edit that. It comes with I believe there's like a couple hundred games in there. you'll probably want to further refine it. I think there's some German games and maybe French or something. I mean, just edit it down, pare it down to what you want. You know, maybe you don't want the Freddy the Fish games or any of that. You can do whatever you want with it. So to get started here, 10 minutes into the video and I'm just getting started. Let's add some files as ROMs with the import ROMs wizard. Click next, add files. We're going to go to the location that you have your ROMs. I have mine in this folder here, and we'll do a Control A and unselect these here. We could also do a, I guess we could go select star.7z in the search, and that would probably, you know, you could probably also find your stuff that way. Star.7z, yeah, see, you can hit Control A, open them that way. Click next in the platform, ScummVM, of course. Our emulator, we don't have anything in here yet, so we need to add Rocket Launcher. Now I guess if you wanted to skip the Rocket Launcher step, you would just do ScummVM, and oh, look at that, Rocket Launcher's already in here, but I still need to add the path to it. I don't know if ScummVM is in here or not. It's not. Okay, so we got Rocket Launcher. Got to add the path to Rocket Launcher, and I have it in my roaming file here. Rocket Launcher exe. Click OK. Next. And for the purposes of this video, let's use files in their current location. Start moving stuff around, we might get lost in this tutorial here. I'm not going to look for any information from the database. I don't want to select any images or anything at this point. We're just going to do a quick import here. Okay, so we can see all the games have imported here, or not imported, but the Launchbox parsed all these. Some of these you'll have to rename, like they're not named properly, like the Blues Clues, and if you even want those, you might just want to delete them out of there. Freddy the Fish, Putt Putt. I mean, if you want these games, that's great, but I'll probably go through and delete these after a while. Anyhow, now that these are all in here, just click Finish. It'll import all these, and since I didn't include any media, we're just getting the generic, icons here. I'm going to try to launch this, and we'll see what happens.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so this is Rocket Launcher saying there's no ScummVM.ini file. Okay, so we've done our part in Launchbox. So let's minimize Launchbox. Let's go over here into Rocket Launcher. On a very, brand new, fresh install of Rocket Launcher, you're going to go to the this tab over here. I'm sorry, I'm clicking around because I'm trying to get my bearings. On the far right, this Rocket Launcher UI tab, click on that, and then click this Front Ends tab. And what we want to do is we want to put Launchbox in here. We see over here on the left under Global, there's no lists down here, but after we import Launchbox, it should look at the ScummVM XML that Launchbox created, and it'll show up over here. Let's click Add. We're going to type Launchbox, the path to Launchbox, and you can use Launchbox or Big Box if you're using Big Box, that's fine. For purposes of this video, I'm just going to use Launchbox. The UI plugin will be Launchbox, and the Rocket Launcher plugin will also be Launchbox. You get those filled out and you click Save. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to make these active and default. You can see the check boxes over here. You can't just click on these to make them work. You actually gotta select this and then click this, and then click this one here, and that will put these check boxes over here to make it'll make this front end active and default. Eventually you could have several front ends in this list, and then you would just, whichever one you wanted, you would click on it and then you would make it the default front end. But we only have Launchbox in here, and that's all we're concerned with right now. You see now that we have made it active, it is actively, Rocket Launcher is actively looking at Launchbox's XML files, and it can see that Launchbox created a ScummVM XML file. And that's great. That's the first step that we needed to do to get the Launchbox ScummVM working, is to get ScummVM in this list. What we need to do now, however, we need to click Global, go over here to Emulators, and it looks like I've already got this in here. Let me delete it so we can start fresh. We need to add an emulator. So we click the plus button, and the name of it is going to be ScummVM, and the path, Launchbox comes with a ScummVM executable. So you need to search for your Launchbox folder and then find ScummVM. It's right there. ROM extensions are going to be 7Z. If you were to have more ROM extensions, you would separate them with a pipe symbol, but we've only got 7Z, so that's all we have to worry about. Even though ScummVM doesn't use ROMs, like I said before, it just uses folders, but we still have to specify what Rocket Launcher is going to look at, because it needs to know that it's extracting these from a 7-zip. The module, this is very important. You have to select the module for this. And just scroll down here to ScummVM, double click that, and that should be all we need for this. Another thing that we need to do is we need to go over here to Settings, and this go to ScummVM, and it'll probably say Use Global. Just set this to True under 7Z, and then under here, down here at the bottom where it says Skip Checks, you need to make that say ROM extension. Okay. And so now we should be able to go over here to Games, this Games tab, click this little arrow icon, and this is doing an audit of all the games. Rocket Launchers right now, it's looking at the folder that we specified to see if the games are here. If they're where we said they are, this list will be green. All these will be in green. If they're not there, you'll still see the names of all these, but they'll probably be in a kind of a pinkish red color. The list will be. If we try to launch one of these, and I always try to launch this Bargon because it's a fairly small file. I always try to launch it. If we try to launch it, we're going to get an error. Uh-oh. Like I said when we tried to launch it earlier from Launchbox, we're getting the ScummVM Ini file. It's saying it can't find that. So we've got Launchbox set up, we've got Rocket Launcher set up. Now the third piece, we need to set up ScummVM to know where to look for these games, because right now it thinks that the games, it doesn't even see any games. So we click on it, and this should be populated. It should have your whole list of games in here when you open it. Normally what you would do is you'd hold the Shift key down, and when you do that, it changes this button to Mass Add, and you just click Mass Add. And do you really want to run the mass games detector? Yes. what you would do is you would have all of your 7-zip files. They would already be extracted into folders. All the games would just be folders. There would be no 7-zip files or zip files or anything. And you would do the mass add, and you would search those folders, and then this list would populate here. What we are going to do, we're going to take a shortcut. So let's quit out of here. What happens when we do run ScummVM for the first time is in your users and then username, app data roaming, ScummVM folder. It's like a roaming folder. What happens is it creates the ScummVM Ini file. If I open it, you'll see there's nothing in it right now because I didn't populate any games into it. I'm going to delete this. Every time you open ScummVM for the first time, it'll just drop that right in there automatically. What I've done is I've already created the ScummVM Ini file. Let's take this and copy it over here to your C users, username, app data roaming, ScummVM. Just drop that in here. Okay. Now when you go and you try to run ScummVM, you should see a list. And I don't know if you can see it on this video, but ScummVM also opened full screen because I got some switches in the INI file to do some different things. But you'll see the list is fully populated, and you'll also see that there's like some German versions of these games. You can delete those if you don't want them. You just, remove game. Yes, I don't want the Italian version. German. No, I don't want that. Remove that. You can remove it. Just go through it. You'll see that we have our list here. But still, if I click on one, it's going to say path's not a directory, and I'll show you why. This is where it gets a little bit more confusing. If we go into the ScummVM Ini, and I'm going to edit it, I'm going to use Notepad++ because that's just what I use. There's other programs you can use, but I find Notepad++ to be about the easiest. You'll see the path. Here's the game. These are all the games. Each one of these purple ones is a game. And you'll see in the path that I've got right here your account name. What we need to do is we need to change this to whatever your account name is. And basically what's going to happen is, so we're going to click on Launchbox on the game. Rocket Launcher will take over. Rocket Launcher will extract the game, and it's going to extract the game to this directory, this temp directory. Now this temp directory, let's go back over to Rocket Launcher. Let's go to settings and make sure ScummVM or global. Let's select global. You see this extract path under 7Z? You want this extract path to match this path all the way up to here. Everything after the HS/ is going to be the folder. That's going to be the folder where the game is going to be located, because Rocket Launcher is going to extract this game to this directory, if that makes any sense. So what you guys as users want to do, you want to do a search, and you want to replace this your account name here that's in the brackets with whatever your account name is. Let me just do a quick replace here and see how that changed. And what you can do is you can just do this replace all, and it will replace every instance of your account name here with whatever your account name is. As you can see, it's already done that for us because I clicked replace all. If we click save, and we should be able to close this. Now if we go back into ScummVM, the games are still not going to launch because, well, it's still going to say path not a directory, because ScummVM is looking for this game inside that temp directory. But what hasn't happened yet is Rocket Launcher hasn't extracted that game to that temp directory, if that makes any sense. if I go back into Rocket Launcher, go into the games for ScummVM and click this audit, and here's Bargon. If I click launch, it should launch now. Yep. So what happened, let me see if I can find it. It's this directory here, app data local. I'm going to open a new folder here. C, users, J, app data local, temp. Good lord, I've got a lot of stuff in here. Then we go to this HS directory that is specified. So what happens is the 7-zip folder gets extracted to this directory, and then when we close Rocket Launcher, it deletes it. So we're not going to see it in here. Maybe if I open it. Nope. Oh, that's right, I can't open it from there. I got to do it from Rocket Launcher. Now let me see if I can I'm going to alt tab to that directory.
At this time, I was living in Paris, facing the Eiffel Tower.
Extracted into this temp
the Seine
directory.
is flowing very near. The Champs-Élysées Avenue is not very far.
If I exit, it should delete. Yep, it was so quick. I don't know if you saw it, but it automatically deleted out of this temp directory. And the reason it says HS, I believe this is a holdover from the Hyperspin days, or maybe this is just something that maybe this is because of how I had my system set up before, and it picked up on some setting that I had that I'm not sure how to clear it. But whatever this extract path is what you're going to want to set that ScummVM Ini. That's what this needs to be. Whatever that is needs to be the same with yours all the way up. So if it's a lot more different than mine, or if you need to change the C to whatever hard drive letter yours is, you'll have to change that in there. That's basically it. Now there's another way that you can run this, and that's extracting all of the 7-zip. Let me see if I can find where did I put those. You can extract all of these into their own folders, and then you would scan all the 7Zs, and it gets convoluted because basically you'd have to extract all these, and but you would still need the 7Zs to scan them into Launchbox. And I have some dummy files that I can include, and they're just 1 byte text files that are all named the same thing. Really, in Launchbox, it doesn't matter where the files are located, because Rocket Launcher is going to take over and extract these to wherever it needs to, or it's going to look at the folder. But for the purposes of my tutorial, I'm not going to show that. I'm just going to show you how to do it the way I did it. It does take a little bit longer to extract each game, but it will save you a little space. I've also created a text document that kind of goes over how to set up in various different ways. I don't have any pictures or anything with it. I'll include that in the file for you guys to download, as well as dummy files if you want to try to use those instead of the 7-zip files. But that is basically about it. I'm not really sure what else I can show you on there. Let's see. Let's go into Launchbox and just try to launch something. Let's try this Blue Force. This is a game I used to play on DOS a long time ago. Not sure if it took or not when I clicked on it. There we go. Give it a second. Yep. Exit. You can come over here into Rocket Launcher if you want. You can set up like fade screens and let's see, let me turn the fade on this one. True. Play sounds. I don't like the sounds. False. Fade out. False. And let's see if we get a generic fade with this. Yeah, see, it's a little short little fade screen there. And you can also set up bezels and all kinds of good stuff with this. Anyhow, I hope that this kind of clears up some of the confusion. In the previous video, I left out how to set up the ScummVM Ini file to work with the ScummVM, and that was my fault. I just totally missed that. But alright, well, hopefully this helps somebody, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask on the forum. Alright, Jay's Arcade out.